Good morning and happy Saturday. I'm just going to play a little clip I had here. I don't know if anybody's watching, but I'm going to play it anyway.
Put cold water on my wrist. It feels so good.
Ready? Ready? Set. Go. Good girl.
This little bag that I got from Art.
Ready, set, go. And that was just a little clip of our little Chloe back when she used to fetch. She doesn't fetch so much anymore. She still go. Occasionally she brings us a paper ball and goes and gets it, but she won't bring it back anymore. Not sure what happened there. So how's Jason and Dean this morning? Good to see you, gentlemen. Hey, John, good to see you too. Surf Bum's in the room. Dean, you're probably getting up for work or getting ready for work, unless maybe you're off today. Flipper may be getting up and getting ready to work on his car. And John, you may have already been out and back somewhere. Oh, hey, Brenda. I didn't realize I missed you. I saw Flipper and Dean and missed right over you. Did you see your little sweetheart out there fetching the paper ball? No. Well, John, that happens. I don't think we're getting it today, but I think whenever that hurricane hits the coast, we're probably going to get some a day or two after that. Hopefully not too much, and hopefully the areas down there that got flooded last week won't get so much. So, Dean, what's it like in Florida today? You guys getting sunshine or are you getting rain today? I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be raining down your way yet or not. Oh, that's cool, John. I'm glad. Did he by any chance go out with you when you guys went? Excuse me. I haven't yawned all morning. Now that you guys show up, I can't keep my mouth shut. John, I was, I don't want to run that path or that trail to go down memory lane too far, but I was looking at some. There's some really very recent videos out there from groups that have documented their trips. I saw one just the other day that was, had just been posted, and that trip had just been a couple weeks ago, so it was very new. and pretty interesting. I don't know if it was a function of the scout group or if it was Philmont's doing this now, but they had a couple of action cameras, GoPros, with them on the hike, and after a couple of days, they let some of the different scouts carry them for a day or parts of the day. And so that's some pretty good. It was interesting, some good conversations and some fun time. It reminded me of just being back there. It was really, it kind of brought it all back. It was just, while things have changed, some things have not. And that's good, Dean. I hope you guys don't get any of that one. I don't know if it's supposed to. You may get what would that be? I guess the east or the northern swirl or whatever when it turns up into the Gulf, but I don't know if it's going to be that wide or not. Oh, Jiminy. Yeah, it was, John. I was telling my wife, I said, these kids, what I found, one of the things I took away from the little video that I watched was that those kids had about the same reaction I had, which I think just speaks to the timeless nature of an adventure like that when you're that age. It sticks. It has stuck with me. I know, and it stuck with. But at that time, it was it was hard, and we grunted and complained probably on the trail some, but in the long run, it was the greatest thing, greatest adventure I'd ever had. Maybe in some ways ever had, but it was great. I'll quit yawning here in a minute. Maybe I can pour enough coffee down me. Just so if Flipper or whoever's in here, if you don't know what we're talking about, it was John and I both share an experience when we were teenagers of going to the Philmont Adventure Scout Ranch out in New Mexico and spent a couple of weeks. So we've been discussing that offline. So, well, John, probably maybe a different way, but yeah, I did. Disney was a long time thing coming for me because, well, it probably was for you, because I'm of the age where I started watching Disney not too many years after it had come on. So they talked about Disneyland a lot, and then eventually talked about Disney World. And growing up, I knew a family that left our community and moved to Florida because the dad was getting a job at Disney World. Don't know if he was just in construction or if he worked for Disney directly or what, but anyway, they were moving to Florida for that reason. So my first trip to Disney World was pretty special. Well, that's good, Dean. I thought it was going to be awful ways, but I wasn't sure how wide it would reach. Oh, really? You can almost say that about mine, John. I mean, my very first visit was in the air. I flew over and had never been there, but I flew over it and took some pictures from the airplane I was in. My friend Steve was flying, and we flew down that way. Maybe he flew me over it on purpose. I don't know. So that was sort of my first visit, but it probably didn't count. It was either that trip or the next one that we actually did go to the park for the very first time. Okay, Dean. So how was your first visit by accident, John? You have to tell that story. There's got to be a story there somewhere. Or there must be more to it than just that. How are they now? My wife is trying out some new frozen waffles that are supposed to be much healthier. Which, of course, makes me think they're probably not tasty, but maybe they are. Move my microphone over just a wee bit. I can see chat better. Oh, speaking of that. No wonder I wasn't seeing things right. Hang on, bear with me just a second. Okay, sorry about that. Just had to take care of a little nose business there. Oh yeah, I believe you told me about that actually. Yeah, there was something you guys had to lay over because there was something going on with the rocket engine or something you took down, and anyway, it seems like you said you ended up a day there extra waiting on that to happen. And Brenda John, he worked on missiles in the Air Force, so. And I believe, John, if I'm correct, you told me that the rocket engine or the stage you guys took down, was part of the early space shuttle testing, I believe. Is that correct? Well, my nose is running, my eyes are running. Oh, geez, I know most of you probably know I've been out of commission for a while. One of my problems is I wasn't sleeping very well. Oh, flipper eggs can stay out of the fridge quite a while. I mean, people didn't used to put eggs in the refrigerator, and a lot of people that have fresh eggs will tell you not to refrigerate them. She has more culinary expertise than I do. She cooked for a lot of years in different systems. But what do you think about eggs? It probably at least 30 days. Well, we used to leave our other eggs out all the time. I mean, our fresh ones we got fresh from the. I used to have a coworker. Her son had eggs or had chickens, and they brought eggs, and I bought eggs from him for a couple of years, and we hardly ever put those in the refrigerator. Of course, they didn't last very long either. I mean, they didn't last too long because we ate them. They didn't go bad. Trust me, they didn't go bad. Nothing. I love fresh eggs. Farm fresh eggs are just the best. If you like eggs for breakfast, you can never go wrong with fresh eggs. So, Flipper, how long have yours been out of the refrigerator? That might be the key question. Yeah, John, I don't know how much of that kind of stuff you got to be involved with, but some of that had to have been fascinating. I mean, I realized it was your job, and there was a very serious point to the job, but some of that still had to be very fascinating. I believe it would be to me anyway. I'm going to tell my own rocket jet type story here just in a minute, but I'm going to I'm going to wait and not hog up all the air for a moment. Yeah, working with nukes, that would be pretty wild. I don't know. At 20, did you still feel pretty bulletproof down there by those nuclear missiles? I have to wonder about that. I mean, I thought I was kind of bulletproof back then, so I think most of us did. Oh, well, if they're starting to smell, then you might not want to eat any more of them then, Flipper. I don't know. 60 days maybe might be putting a limit. The problem with store-bought eggs, you never know how long they've actually been in the store. I mean, in the train of getting there, not just in the store, but I mean, they don't last in the store all that long. Most around here, shelves rotate pretty quick. But if they're starting to pick up a smell, then I might be hesitant there. If they stay long enough, they're really great for throwing, but they stink. I've taken rotten ones out of the barn before. You know, really old egg has a pretty nasty smell to it. When you say quarantine, in this case, Flipper, do you mean quarantine when you guys were sick, or do you mean quarantine like last year sometime? Oh, I'm sure, John. Which reminds me of another story my buddy that worked out there had told me before, and you can confirm or deny, I guess. Well, I guess that helps, Jason. John, he told me one time and this happened to him on a couple of occasions, but he said you could be driving down a road out there, which middle of nowhere probably is likely to be gravel as paved, but and you would, I wouldn't say you go around the bend, but most of the time there weren't any bends in the roads. They're pretty straight, but you come over a rise or something, and there'd be a guy, I guess an MP or maybe just an armed soldier, standing there with an M16 blocking the road, and they would basically tell you to turn around and go a different way, or find an alternate route, or you were going to have to wait, because generally speaking, that meant they were either moving a missile from one silo to another, or moving it, period, or maybe just pretending to be moving them around, so those who watch such things and count where our missiles are didn't know which ones were where. Does that sound like does that plausible story when you were in? Did that sort of thing go on? Well, Jason, I don't know if you've ever cracked into a really nasty egg, but it'll start having a sulfury smell when they go bad. So if you smell a little bit of hint of sulfur, I probably wouldn't eat it. SP, okay. That's another good point, John. The yolks tend to turn dark orange. That's my mind. I was saying that, but I wasn't saying it out loud. Ah, Brenda, there you go. I would heed her words of wisdom in that regard. She's a little bit more leery of things than I am, but that's because like I said, she worked in the system for so long. She had to be ultra careful about that sort of thing. And while I grew up eating leftover chicken on the kitchen table on Sunday nights or whatever, she knows what the rules are, so I would heed that. Ah, so a helicopter was the true key. I got you. Hello, Ashley. How are you this morning? I hope wherever you're at is you're having a lovely morning so far. Here in East Tennessee right now, we've got sunshine coming up over the mountains, and so far it looks like a nice day. It's probably going to be hot. I think we're expecting to be in the low to mid 90s or so. At least I think I heard at least 92. Well, actually, there's nothing wrong with that. Most mornings this week, I've not. Truth be told, most mornings this week, I've not even been awake this time of morning, or I've fallen back to sleep. I've had some very sleepless nights of late. So last night I slept pretty decent. So, Ashley, what part of the world are you in? Just you don't have to be specific, or city or town, just generally. So, Dean here is from Florida. John is up New Jersey way. Flipper's up in New York. Almost said Michigan. Brenda is in Tennessee. I'm in Tennessee. If I'm not missing anybody. South Kakalaki. Well, there's two friends that come in and visit from time to time from South Carolina. Kay Atwood, I believe, is from South Carolina. I think she's maybe northeastern Piedmont. I don't think she's at Myrtle Beach, but she's in that general direction. And then, of course, Cherie, Surfer Girl, I can't remember the numbers on her end of her name now. She's from South Carolina. She is from Myrtle Beach. Pour up another cup of Death Wish here. One of the things I like about my Death Wish coffee, well, besides drinking it, is every time I get a new bag, and I get a subscription bag because it's a little bit cheaper that way. Well, I can't find my goodies. But along with every bag, I get some kind of a goodie. I get a sticker, which I like stickers. Or I get a patch. Oh, here's my sticker. I get a sticker like this to put on something or somebody. And this time, I got a new bag in a couple days ago, and I got this pen, which probably won't show up worth a darn on the camera, but because it's kind of black on black, but it says Black Coffee, Master of Vitality. Let's see here if it shows up. I don't know. Can you guys read that at all? Anyway, I never know what's going to be in the box, so they're not super expensive big gifts or anything, but they're fun to find. You know, it's that Cracker Jacks kind of feeling. There's a surprise in every box. Oh, I like Greenville area. I've been to Greenville a few times, actually. That's a nice part of Carolina. Greenville's an interesting town. I don't know if you're actually there, but okay, Brenda's got some more factoids here. Let's see what she's saying. We don't have mandatory vaccination for salmonella for the hens like the British do. In the U.S., once an egg is refrigerated, it needs to stay that way for 2 hours. 2 hours is the most they can stay out. Oh, once they've been refrigerated, 2 hours is the most they can stay out. Does that particular bit of information come with a guide for how long you can leave them out if you never put them in, Brenda? Because I know you can. You know, I can remember growing up, I think my grandma, they used to send us kids out to the barn sometimes to collect eggs. At least my grandmother, on one side of my family, had kind of free roaming hens, but they had roost boxes and structures, and they had nests in different places, and sometimes they would hide them and we'd have to find them again. They'd lay eggs, and they might even hatch out some chicks, and then a week or two would go by, and we'd figure out where they were laying again so we could collect the eggs. But we'd go out and get them, and then I remember them putting them in a bowl or a basket in the kitchen, not refrigerating them then. I have to think back to make sure she even had a refrigerator, to be honest. She may not have at that time. Well, if it's already 82 here, it will keep climbing, I'm sure. Nope, I have a Walmart. Well, New York Walmarts might have chickens out back. We don't know this. I've never checked. Our daughter has some chickens. Last year. She'd been talking about it for some time. She's my kid. She likes animals of all. Well, we both do, but my wife does. Brenda does also. But they kind of grew up around the animals and critters of all kinds, snakes, spiders, you name it. And so she wanted chickens, so they built a coop, and so I know she's got at least 4 right now, 4 hens. Yep, there Brenda's telling right now. So yeah, sometimes they forget to give them away to Dad and Mom. So we have to get in line too. I think sometime we're going to buy a couple of hens of our own and put them in with hers, and then claim those eggs as ours. Brenda, tell me again, do their hens lay different colored eggs, or are they all brown egg hens? I know she's got 2 species or 2 varieties of hens. I won't be able to think of their names. Maybe you can remember. Something rock. I don't know if she have Dominicers or something, or I don't know. You tell us. I'm going to make a fool out of myself. I'm much better with wild critters than I am with domesticated ones. When it comes to chickens, I know they're different. I know some of them lay green eggs and blue eggs and brown eggs. Just depending on which ones they are. I know she goes out and talks to hers, and they'll come running up to her and, get a little attention, and she'll give them a little snack. And she keeps them acclimated to her presence a lot. Now, Dean, he has chickens, but unfortunately, the chickens at Dean's house are all, so far that I've seen, are roosters. But I have to suspect, Dean, do you see hens out roaming? And have you ever tried to follow one to see if they lay eggs, to see if they're nesting? You could probably pick up some true free range eggs down there. I wonder what it is about chickens in Florida. I have stinky eggs. Hey, Carol. Good morning, miss. Does that mean you're home now, or just at a point where you can send us a text on your phone? Teddy, Carol's here. You want to say hi? He had to send me a telepathical message, and so he said, "Not yet. I got to get woke up." So maybe Carol here on, and he'll try to say good morning. He's been a rascal this morning. He came in my bedroom and turned over my trash can first thing this morning. One of his favorite things to do. And he doesn't just turn them over. He has to dig everything out, see what's in the bottom of the trash can. And this happens, that trash can needs to be empty, so it had a lot of paper in it and stuff. And so he had to, get that all outside the bed so I couldn't walk out and stumble and, trip and fall. Although he swears that's not why he did it. He never offers to help pick it up either. That's the bad thing. Well, I know the story I was going to tell about rocket motors. I went to school in Daytona Beach, Florida, for aircraft training, and to get, if you're a civilian, to work on aircraft, you typically have to have what they used to call, or I think they still do call it, airplane and power plant certificate, which means you can work on the airplane itself and the engines, all of which requires training, additional training, and supervision and things when you get out till you really know what you're doing. Your Walkong can't chat, dip. Well, hi, friends. Okay, Carol, we got it. Maybe when you quit Walkonging, we can chat again. Yeah, Jason, I think I'd agree with John there. I think I'd chuck those and get me some more. I hate to throw out eggs or spent money, if you will, but it's I'd rather do that than be sick from salmonella. That could be, in many different ways, as bad as short term, at least, as COVID. And you've been through that already, especially since you are just recovering from that. You might be a little weak on the immune system. Yeah, I'd probably stay away from those eggs. Anyway, I was going to tell a story. And when I was going to school down there, the school I went to was called Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. And when I went, it was still primarily an aircraft flight training and mechanical training center. They've now evolved into, they were evolving then, they were becoming more of an all-around university, a college, whatever at that time. Well, they still call themselves a university. I'm not sure where that designation changes, but don't chuck them at a car or anything with paint on them, Flipper. That stuff eats the paint off everything. But you might chuck them at Tina or something if you just want to have a little bit of fun, but you'll have to hose her down afterwards. You can tell her I said so. Anyway, they had some back in the day, they could experiment and do a lot of things probably they couldn't today, but I don't know if you know what a pulse jet engine is, but pulse jets were one of the first forms of jet engines that we typically think of when we talk about the early experiments and beginnings of jet engines and rocket motors. And they're famously known for being the engines that were put on the V1 bomb or V1 rockets that the Nazi Germany launched against England mostly. And they were called buzz bombs because the sound they make. A ramjet, typically you have to light the fire in a ramjet, which is where the energy comes from. But you have to have air flowing through it to make it work. So you have to start them usually already moving. So that's one reason they had to launch if you've ever seen World War II videos or films, documentation, they launched those things off a rail and then they fired off. And the reason is you had to have some air moving through them to get them to work, because there was no turbine or compression system on it. It was strictly air moving through, igniting. That caused it to expand and compress and pop out the end. But they pulsated, which gave them the name. I just called them. What did I just call them? Buzz bombs. Well, those engines are still around, and I've seen them on a couple of things. I've even seen one on a small one on a model airplane. Well, they built one down at Riddle back in the 60s, late 60s, maybe early 70s, and they mounted it on top of a Dodge Dart car. And they took that thing down to the Everglades, what was known then as Alligator Alley, which was a straight piece of road, and nobody lived there. There was no not much traffic on it back then. There was nobody down there, and they figured they could, test it. So they did. And I guess the local authorities eventually got all kinds of calls about some kind of rocket running down the road and, fire and belching smoke. And so they brought it back to Embry-Riddle. But they had it. I talked to one of the teachers once that did it. He said it was pretty amazing, kind of scary. It got going pretty fast for a Dodge Dart. Hey, Kay Atwood. Kay Atwood, meet, if she's still in here, meet Ashley. Ashley, meet Kay Atwood. You guys are sort of neighbors. Bear with me. Okay, no need to be sorry. You're not late. You're just here right when you needed to be. So anyway, they played around with a pulse jet on top of a Dodge Dart. I think they ran that thing around Daytona a time or two also just to see, but the car really wasn't designed for the power. It would get it going pretty fast, and the car, Dodge Dart of that era just wasn't made to go that fast, so they had to be kind of careful with it, I guess. But they did do it. They built it. It was still there when I was down there, but they didn't have it. They didn't take it out. I don't know if they ever ran it again or not. I don't know if Ashley is still here or not, Kay, but she said that she was from up in the Greenville area. And I don't know how close you are to Greenville, but I don't think you're terribly far away, though, are you? I don't believe. Flipper's giving us some history here on rotten eggs, and John and I were talking rockets and missiles and things that fly, and a little bit of Disney World. And let's see, Brenda's been educating us a little bit on how long eggs can stay outside. Oh, okay. You and Ashley probably live close together then. She said, she didn't say how close, but she said she was in the Greenville area. So I couldn't remember if she was that far up or not. I don't know if she's still in here or not, but she is. Say hi. It's Ashley Loves Disney. Let me see if she's still showing in chat. She may have stepped out, but she might be back. Somebody else just left too. I think my spouse left. I don't know why she left. Oh well, she didn't say bye. Mikey Wheeler, good morning, sir. Well, I'm glad you did wake up early so you can catch a little bit of this. I think you've got a busy day, though, don't you? Aren't you going somewhere today, or maybe your stepmom's having a party? I can't remember if that was the case or not, or the complete case. I've been up for a while, John, or Mike, and my eyes are still feel like they're full of grit. So I hope yours are wide awake and better than mine are this morning. I won't bore you with all the details, but just a little sort of a quick explanation of where I've been. I've been living in a fair bit of pain for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and on top of that, I was sick for a week or so with running really high fevers and stuff. Not COVID, but something else. In fact, Brenda had a spot of it too, we think. And good morning, Don. Welcome in, former Tennessean. Well, maybe once a Tennessean, always a Tennessean, and now you're also a Texan. But that's okay. Texas is good. Oh, okay, Mike. I thought maybe you were planning to. I couldn't remember if you said you were going somewhere today with your stepmom or what the story was there. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was telling about my woes and ills. So yesterday I went to the doctor, and we're going to have some more checks done. I'm trying to figure out. I believe I've got a torn muscle or something in my upper thigh of my left leg, and I think it's probably been that way again. It may be a result of one of my falls that I took when my my legs went out from under me, and so we're going to take some more looks at that. I swore and pardon the expression, was damned if I didn't think they had done a MRI on my hips for a couple of reasons, which would have covered this area, but apparently they did not. I know they said I got x-rays and they knew there weren't any broke bones in my hips, but they didn't check anything else. So, oh, okay, Mike. And I've been honestly a little under the wet, little blue, as you can imagine. I don't know. You guys have probably dealt with similar or unknown people who did, but long-term things like this tend to wear you down after a while. And I've let it get to me a little bit too much lately. And I just wasn't really feeling up to my normal self to be online and talk to people. And so I apologize to everyone here I've not been in their chats or not been around to talk to them and support them as they've supported me. I feel guilty for that, so I am sorry for that. But I am trying to pull myself back up by my bootstraps and get life on a better plane. So hopefully in the next week or so, we'll know a little bit more about what's going on in my upper leg and hip. And maybe if I can get that straightened out, I can get back on the path to more rehabilitation. Okay, I know that. I do, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying it. I just hate to be a burden to people. I think there's a lot of people out there who've got a lot more things to worry about than me. And I hate to, honestly, it's hard for me to sit here and say this to the folks that are here because I don't want to feel like I'm throwing a pity party. I don't mean to be, but I'm sure in a way I have been. It's just been throwing it by myself. And so I'm trying to get past that and get back on to better things. I honestly had hoped I'd be back more on my feet by this time. It's been 8 months now after my surgery, and I've come a long way, but I'm still not where I wanted to be. And I may not ever get to where I thought I would get, but I'm working on it. So I just have to stay a little bit more. I have to think good thoughts. I have to stay in a better place mentally, and then also try to, keep getting back to work and work on my physical strength. And hopefully I'll get there. I'm starting to think I may not be able to ever ride my motorcycles again, which is very depressing for me. But I am thinking about if I can't get back on the ones I own, I'm going to come up with an alternative. I may go to a 3-wheeler, which I wouldn't have to hold up as much and can probably have almost as much fun on. Certainly I'll be out in the wind and the air like I want to be. So we'll see. Oh, a mystery dinner train. That's cool, Mike. My wife has wanted to do that for a long time, Mike. They do that around here too sometimes. A couple different scenic railway types things offer a dinner and a mystery sort of a deal. I'm thinking about it, Mike. I never wanted one. I never wanted to have to go that route, but that was all before this happened. So I may not have a choice if I want to ride again. And I'm honestly starting to look at what's called a Spider, a Can-Am builds out of Canada, a 3-wheel. It's got 2 wheels in the front and 1 in the back, as opposed to 1 in front and 2 in back. You're right, Kay, and I know that. I know that, and I know better, but it still happens. I mean, I've tried to keep mine kind of to myself, and you're right. It doesn't do any good, and it doesn't. It's not good for you, not good for me or the person doing it, and it's because it tends to just get darker. Yeah, Flipper. That's probably one of my longest term, biggest favorite happy places. I've got a couple of places I'd have to call happy places. Disney's one of them. Always has been, and maybe my happiest place in many ways. But I've always liked to be outdoors, so I used to camp and hike a lot. It's not been that many years ago. We used to hike 1 or 2 weekends a month in the Smokies, or go out. Some friends of mine had my friends of mine and I had a unofficial, what we call the, well, we laughingly call it the how do we call it? Booze and Jerky Hiking Club. But that because we sometimes one day we took a bottle of wine with us and some jerky one of us had made, so just to snack on while we were at the top of the mountain. And so we kind of named ourselves the Booze and Jerky Hiking Club. There was 4 of us or 5, and we went pretty good hikes in the Smokies, mostly day hikes. But, it could be 14 or 15 miles at a time. So there's Ashley back. Ashley, meet Kay. Kay, meet Ashley. If you're both still in here, I think Kay, you might have stepped away. Oh, you had to get Starbucks. Well, tell us, did you get a black coffee, or did you get pumpkin spice? Because all I hear about is pumpkin spice. Anyway, yeah, so Kay, I'm trying to get better about that. I've got friends here. I don't know if I've earned that. I honestly feel like I haven't earned an audience here, if you will. Hey, Dave, good to see you this morning. Adventures by Dave is with us, folks. Say hi. And but I'm working on that, and that's just my own fault, my own way of internalizing. I guess it's not good, but anyway, I don't want to dwell on that too much longer. I just wanted to explain why I hadn't been around much, and I have I had a toothache, and I've got to get a tooth pulled. And pumpkin spice latte overrated, too sweet. I've never had one. I have to admit, I've never tried a pumpkin latte or a pumpkin spice anything, and I think I'm going to this year just because. I usually drink coffee black straight up, and I have all my life, so I never was big on sweet drinks. Now, I did start drinking some of the mochas and things from Starbucks when I would go there occasionally. So I do enjoy one once in a while, but that's not what I drink a lot. I don't know if I've had that yet, Kay. I have tried their cream cold brew, but I don't think I've tried a pumpkin cream one. But I might. But anyway, I'm trying to get back on my feet. I'm trying to get my other show going. I'm hoping this week to get down to the Time Warp Tea Room here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and visit some of my motorcycle friends. And hopefully, hey, Francisco. Oh, let me get my mic. Case Tracy's not here. Francisco. That's a fun name to say. Francisco. Hey, buddy. Good to see you. How are things on the West Coast? I'll have to try the Irish cream one. That does sound good. I'm guessing it doesn't have any whiskey in it. Just guessing. The Irish coffee I make here at home tends to have Wheat's had an Irish whiskey in it. A wheat dram, as they say. Okay, John, go say hi to Dad. Tell him I said hello, and hope all's well with him. Enjoy your conversation. I got to catch up now, guys. I got to. I can't remember the expression. Talking about myself being down, and forgot to keep up on the conversations in the chat, which are generally speaking much happier. So, Flipper, are you saying when I talk like this, I don't sound nearly as much like a hick as I do normally? Oh, see, now Brenda is talking about wanting the spider. I just saw I got a magazine upstairs, and I meant to bring it down here so I could read it. There was a spider on the front cover, Brenda. Did you happen to notice that? My Roadrunner has a story about a spider in it, so I thought I'd read that and see what they have to say. Flipper, back to your question originally, though, about yes, I love to ride. I've been riding since I was 14. And even back then, that was my favorite thing to do. I paid for my first couple of motorcycles, honestly, delivering newspapers. And I delivered the papers. I had what we called a rural route. And so I had several miles to go, and, a lot of boxes scattered around the countryside. So, I rode my motorcycle with one of those news bags around my neck, and I, fortunately, for the most part, was able to slide my papers into newspaper boxes along my route. So, a lot of times, if the weather was right, I would come home and ditch my bag and maybe even change my clothes, depending on what the weather had been early that morning, because it can be kind of chilly. But I would get out and just take off and go riding somewhere for a while, just to be out on the roads. And over time, that's developed into, trying to travel some and go a few places. And I've been a few places. I don't consider myself a true long distance miler yet. Even though I put a lot of miles on motorcycles, I've never done them all at one time, big long trips. So when I retired, that was one of my designs, was to try to get out and make some true trips a few times a year, get out and go, because I could. And unfortunately, I've not been able to. So that's really had me kind of, when I let that gets depressing. And I still go out and start my bike and make sure it's running and ready to go, but I just haven't been able to ride it. I think I could ride it now, but I could not. I'm afraid if it leaned over on my left leg, it up. So that has stopped me from trying. But honestly, I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm able yet. So I say I think I can, because I've gotten a lot better. My legs and stuff are better than they were. And maybe when a few more of these aches and pains, if my knee was fixed and this hip problem was taken care of, then I think I'd be ready to go. My feet are still kind of wonky, but I think I could handle it if my knee and my leg were able to stop hurting long enough for me to, strengthen it some more and get back into riding shape. Well, we have tried pumpkin donut, and it was okay. It wasn't something I'd go out of my way to buy a dozen of, but at a time. But I have tried them, and they're not bad. Probably not as good as a good blueberry donut, but still not bad. And I'm sure there's different kinds that would be, might be better and or worse. Dean, I'm glad you made it back. I'm sorry I didn't say hi when you came in, buddy. Oh, no, it's about time to go to work, though. Well, when you get there, put us back a couple of Frosties and a chicken sandwich. I still haven't tried one of those breakfast sandwiches you told me about, Dana. I haven't been out in a long time to pick up breakfast like that. So when I can, I'm going to give it a try. All right, what else is everybody else getting into today? What's anybody doing that's exciting? Dave, hopefully you're still here. You're headed somewhere today, aren't you? Or this weekend? I was thinking you're. I can't remember what I heard. I read or thought I read you're doing. Use that place called ABC Bread Company. Oh, really? ABC Bread Company. I don't know if I've ever heard of them. Well, I would tell you cannot answer that call, Dean, but if you did, you'd probably be in trouble. And I would hate for you to lose your job on advice I gave you. So I'm going to have to suggest you go ahead and write it out for the time being. This isn't Labor Day weekend, though, right? It's next weekend, right? Am I confused? See, every day is the same for me. Since I retired, the holidays are pretty much the same as yesterday or tomorrow. So I can't, I'm having a little bit more trouble keeping up. But Labor Day is not for another week, though, right? So does that mean, Ashley, does that mean you're off from now till Labor Day? Or you're just gearing up now for a long Labor Day weekend next week? Okay, the Atlanta Bread Company. Okay. Okay, did you guys ever have anything down that your way called Flowers Bakery? Flowers. They were actually out of Georgia. Actually out of South Georgia, but they got a surfer girl. 326 is in the room. Hi, Cherie. I hope your day's going well. Me too, Ashley. Good for you. Good to see you, Cherie. I hope work is treating you halfway decent today. You did have Flowers. That's interesting. See, I used to work on Flowers as aircraft. They used to have 2 or 3 different corporate airplanes, and their chief pilot was, I'd call him a friend of mine back then. He was really a good guy, one of the best pilots I ever flew with. He was the kind of guy you'd climb in an airplane with him anytime, any day, and not worry about anything, because I saw him do some amazing things. Dean, did you catch that order from Brenda Pruitt? She's placing an order to go from Wendy's. I don't know. Do you guys do delivery in Tennessee? Anyway, Flowers Bakeries used to have some great pecan, I guess, fruit cakes. I'd have to call them fruit cakes, but they were almost like pecan cakes that they would do at Christmas back then. And we would get some occasionally, but the one thing he did always bring us was big bags of pecans from South Georgia. And that was sort of a Christmas treat from him to us. And we'd split them up and, take them home. They were still in the shell, but still they were, big 50 or big or gunny sacks full of burlap sacks full of pecans. It was pretty neat. And those fruit cakes that they made were like 50% or better all pecans. They were like I said, it was like eating pecan bread or a pecan pie almost. And I happen to love pecan pie. Okay, Mike, thanks for stopping in. Which way are you headed first this morning? You said you were modding, so who all's on? Tell us who all's on this morning, so when we can get away from here, we'll catch up. Oh, I know what's going on. Oh, we probably already. I don't know if we already missed it. When is the Collie challenge, Mike? Is that starting at 11? I do have to get that Central Florida. Oh, she'd probably come and get it, Dean, if she thought she could. They just went live. Okay. Well, I'm not sure exactly what all they're going to be doing over there, but I'm sure that's going to be a load of fun. So I don't know. We may take off. I may let people go in a minute and so they can get off and go over there and get involved in that fun this morning. Oh, there's Carkey back. Well, I tell you what, folks, how many? I'll take a vote if you guys would like to go watch, and you may be watching them already, but if you'd like to go dedicate your time to them, and Mars and the Mouse is on, that's good too. All right, Flipper, Jason, say hi to Tina and the kids. I hope everybody's feeling better and getting well. That's all good news, and you're welcome and glad. Thank you for coming in, and I'll see you later. Okay, Ashley, you too. I think I will sign this off today and cut it a little bit short. It's my first weekend back, and I need to actually get up and stretch just a little bit because I'm starting to ache some. So this will be a good excuse, and we can all go over and tell Diz Our Dream that Tim sent you, and we're over there to see what kind of mischief they're going to get into, and tell him to watch out for the bear because he's on his way. And if you go see Myers and the Mouse, tell Mama Bear and Kelly that the bear's on his way over there too, and I will be gunning for him. Well, Cherie, I hate to leave when you just got here. That wasn't Cherie. Yeah, there's Cherie. And you too, Carol. Carol, wait, don't go. Can you see the screen? Okay, or Carol, if you can see the screen, I'm gonna get Teddy and make him say hi. Come here. Miss Carol wants to say good morning. Come up here. No, say hi. No, you say hi. What's going on? Huh? He was asleep, Carol. I'm sorry. He's grouchy when he wakes up. Hey. All right, he's going to get down. And right back to sleep. He's curled up already. So, Carol, I hope you got to see him for a minute. He didn't stay around long. But at least you got to see him. He's you want to come back and say hi now? Are you ashamed for being so ugly? No. No, he's decided he's going to curl back up. Oh, Brenda's headed to Florida, Dean. Have that sandwich ready in about 10 hours if you could. Oh, you're welcome. I don't know what's got into him. If I'm not talking, he used to get on my lap when I was talking and he wanted to stay. Now he doesn't want to, except when I'm not, and then he wants to get up here and he's all over me. But so it's something's changed. I think he realizes he was the center of attention, maybe. All right, Cherie, next weekend I'll stay longer for sure, and so you can be here longer, and I apologize for leaving right after you get here, but I think I want to go over and watch Collie Challenge too, and say hi to Myers and the Mouse. I've missed seeing those guys, and missed seeing. God, my mind's gone. Jeff and Angela. I'll get it out in a minute, and I don't know who all else is going to be there today, so I guess we'll find out who's doing the challenge. So. Everybody have a great Saturday and a Sunday. If you're in the way of that tornado or the hurricane coming up to the Gulf, please be safe. Batten down the hatches. Get the hell out of Dodge if you can. And if you can't, then hang on tight. And please let us know how you're doing. I don't know, Dawn, will that one get up your way if you're still in here? It will eventually work its way up to Tennessee in the Tennessee Valley, but I don't know if it'll get all the way up to here in the mountains or not. No, Cherie, I'm sorry. I didn't realize, I should have not said I was going to go, but I would like to go over and get some of those. And I am getting a little bit tired this morning. It's my first weekday back. So, but my show will probably resume its normal 2-hour regularly scheduled good mornings next week. So I hope so. And keep your fingers crossed. If you're interested, hopefully this week I'll have something new coming out from the motorcycle club. So we'll see. Hey, Jonathan, well, glad you stopped in and said hi, and good to see you. Hope everything's wherever you're at having a busy morning. I hope it's going well. See you guys later in chat. Bye-bye. See you next week if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise.